Why is my vehicle burning oil? If you've ever popped open the hood, checked your oil, and discovered that the oil level is just gone down in between your oil changes, well, you're not alone. Whenever you notice a bluish smoke coming from the tailpipe, uh, you can smell burning oil, or you're simply adding a quart more often than you used to, which, by the way, how many people are actually checking their oil nowadays, right? Back in the day when I was young, you had to check your oil all the time, almost every time that you got in your vehicle, unless you were really lucky. And then slowly but surely, engines have gotten so much better, oil has gotten so much better, blah, blah, blah. And most people don't even know how to check their oil anymore. So it'd actually be a good idea next time you're in to ask your local automotive repair shop, how do you check your oil? Make sure, because by the time your oil light comes on, meaning most of the time you've already got damage to your engine. So make sure you actually know how to check your oil. And then, I would, depending on your situation, your circumstance, at least once a month, you need to check your oil. And, what does burning oil actually mean? So there's two main pathways that oil takes to get burned. It's either through the valves, so you can have worn valve seals or guides, or past the piston rings. So you've actually, on an internal combustion motor, you've got a combustion chamber, and you've got and intake valves, exhaust valves, where you're actually sucking in air, and then the valves all close. Your fuel is injected. Your spark plug ignites the injected fuel. It explodes and it sends your piston down, and you've got piston rings that are keeping the oil on one side and the combustion on the other. So if you know how the engine works to begin with, so it's either going to be through one of your valve seals or guides or past the piston rings. It's normal. Okay. Signs of your vehicle burning oil is the bluish smoke we talked about, frequent low oil levels, oil smell inside or around your vehicle, or even a decreased fuel efficiency, oil fouling on the spark plugs. That's literally where your spark plugs are getting fouled because they've got raw oil dropping on them, getting on them. You can have a rough idle or reduced engine performance. And these aren't just annoyances, they're symptoms of a much deeper issue that can lead to premature engine failure where you can't leave it unchecked. The top causes, are again, your worn valve seals, failing piston rings. You've actually got a PCV, positive crankcase ventilation system, that's recirculating, and it can have blow by gases. Okay, so if the system clogs or fails, pressure builds up and forces oil into areas it shouldn't go, like the intake manifold, leading to burning. You get cylinder wall scoring and or wear. So the engine with high mileage, poor maintenance history, or manufacturing defects, or a lot of different things, may suffer from worn or scored cylinder walls. This wear allows more oil to pass by the rings on the pistons, and it enters into the combustion chamber. Turbocharged engines, the turbo seals can fail, and this allows oil into the intake or exhaust paths, which then burns during the operation. So there's a big difference between an oil burning engine and an oil leaking engine. So the critical difference, the distinction: burning oil means it's going through your engine and out the exhaust. Leaking oil means it's dripping externally onto the ground, underbody, or exhaust components, or somewhere. And both cause low oil levels, but they have very different causes and require different diagnostic approaches and procedures. And then the famous question, is it dangerous to drive a car that burns oil? It can be. Yeah. I mean, you got increased carbon buildup, you got fouled split plugs, you can have clogged catalytic converters. The converters literally burning any unburned fuel, making it to where we have good emissions coming out of our tailpipe. And it's really hard for the catalytic converter that's designed to burn the unused fuel coming through your exhaust. It's really hard for it to burn oil. And of course, you got the accelerated engine wear and engine overheating and seizure. So we all know that there's no convenient time for any of this to happen. So before it literally becomes a problem, get it checked out. Bring it down to one of our shops, bring it down, let us, one of our ASE certified technicians, get a hold of it. Let us find out what's going on. If there's anything going on, we're going to do a comprehensive visual inspection. We're going to use a digital vehicle inspection, which we're going to be taking pictures. And sometimes, obviously, with internal, we can't take pictures of the inside of the motor where it's actually burning oil, if that's where it's happening. But if it's got an external leak, then we can definitely do that. You're going to have to track your oil consumption over time, over miles. We can do compression leak down tests to see if the piston rings or valves have seal integrity. We can inspect your positive crankcase ventilation system, your PCV valves, and on and on. We can do a bore scope inspection of cylinders and valves. That's expensive. Spark plug analysis for oil fouling. We can review the service history with you. And then, of course, there's nothing that can't be fixed. It's just a matter of how much is that cost going to be. And estimates will be given before any work is done. Main thing is to be totally aware of your responsibility in driving a car. You don't want to just be responsible for changing the oil. You also want to change the coolant / antifreeze, the brake fluid. You're going to need to flush the injectors so raw fuel doesn't drip into your engine compartment, into the combustion chamber, which can definitely help score the walls and make it to where you can start burning oil, stuff like that. So there's just so many different things that's going on inside of an internal combustion motor. It's not even funny. So do yourself a favor and make an appointment. Come on down. Let us take care of you. Let us really see what's going on with your motor. Let's build a great relationship. Let's take care of your car. Stay safe. Stay strong.